Boom, 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 boom. When the lights go out in the city. What am I looking for? That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. We got ourselves some action items.
Yes, we do. We are live.
I'm ready for my close-up, my man.
Here we go. Oh, Jenny's in the chat. Jenny's in the chat.
Oh, Jay.
All right. I'm ready when you are.
Do this, man.
Welcome. Thank you for tapping into some Untapped Keg, our podcast where we talk about sobriety, mental health, and life in general. We are part of the Believe Podcast Network. Check us out on YouTube. So please hit that like and subscribe button. Leave us a rating. Brand new on Spotify. Give us our first 5-star rating. Let us know how we're doing. Look us up on Twitter, Twitch, everywhere. All of the above, hit us up. I'm one of your hosts, RJ Zimmerman. Here with my good friend, Montee Ball. How you doing, big guy?
Oh my goodness, man. I'm here. I mean, come on. Can't complain right now. You know, I got my cup of coffee. Looking out my window right now, my balcony, looking at some dead trees. I mean, this is just
Are they dead or dormant?
They are dormant, correct. They are just relaxed right there, hibernation, but all is well, man. I'm been doing all right, man. Been doing all right, which is like a lot of it, as we talked about before, is because of this podcast and stuff, and just holding myself accountable. But how have you been, man?
You know, I'm glad that you asked. We got Jenny here. Good morning, Jenny. Good to see you. She says, grateful, inspired, and empowered. And
grateful, inspired, empowered.
That's awesome. That's great to hear. So I actually have this handy dandy new mug that you can see here, which, lets me find the words that my brain is searching for. And I would say that I am feeling pretty elated, proud, and excited. And a lot of that has to do with this podcast. A lot of it has to do with, life in general. We've both been going through some changes in our lives that some of it we talk about, some of it we don't, because, we only talk for 1 hour a week. So you get to see and some vulnerabilities. We try to talk about a lot of stuff, but some other stuff we just have to keep private just because our kids, our significant others, and whoever didn't sign up to have their entire life posted on the internet. So, but just spent a week traveling to Wisconsin. That was fun. That was a really good time. I was very apprehensive and anxious and full of anxiety, full of what's the word I'm looking for? Self-sabotage anxiety. Like I didn't clean the house, didn't pack, didn't do anything. I'm like, oh, maybe we just can't go. But I mean, come on. That was not a true possibility. But it ended up being great. It ended up being an awesome trip. The travel, there were a few frustrating moments because you're traveling with a 4 and a 2-year-old. yeah, they need space to run. But for the most part, it was really, really good. And yeah, it was awesome seeing, I would say half of you, because the other half is lost somewhere. We don't know where it is. And kind of just talking and shooting ideas like we did a year ago. There's been a lot of changes since then, and a lot of things have happened, but we're not standing still, and that's exciting. That's exciting.
Right. Yes, I agree. And for context, just so people don't think I'm actually like lost, just referencing my weight loss. It's been one heck of a weight loss journey already. It's been pretty cool. But yeah, man, it was good to see you. So yeah, recap. I mean, I obviously we had a great Christmas, all that jazz, all that yada yada yada. Don't care to talk about that. Yada yada yada. Everybody had a good time. Had great Christmas, great Kwanzaa, great Hanukkah, whatever, all that jazz. Happy holidays. But I don't really care to talk about that. I'm excited to do a recap of Untapped Keg, and we don't want to put the cart before the horse, or whatever the saying is, but we have some very exciting things that we are about to chart on or down or embark on, I should say. Don't count our chickens before they hatch, but I don't want to say it too soon. But again, we're excited about some things. So let's go and do this recap, man.
Yeah. Let's talk about 2021. Yeah, let's talk about the year.
December 26th, 2021. We started the podcast in what? March late February, March,
of 2020.
Of 2020. So we're going on 2 years now, and we're at that mark now where we're going to start revamping everything. Things are going to be, I got the new backdrop. I'm about to get some photos put up there. Boom. It's going to look nice back there. Artie's going to probably put another poster up there or something, do something a little bit, but we got some exciting things coming up. But before we get to that, let's go ahead and talk about it, man. My goodness. How time has flown by, huh?
It feels like, it feels like 2 weeks ago I moved to Virginia. Like that's how time has been feeling. Like, it's been 4 months, 3 months.
I want to go back and listen to our first. I want to go back and listen to our first episode where we like sitting right next to each other.
Yeah,
like
the first three episodes we were sitting right next to each other, and
shoulder on the couch.
So I've listened a little bit just to hear the sound quality, and I've been surprised that I have not been like cringing at the sound quality. It's actually not bad. It's not bad sound quality. And, we had a mixing board that we didn't know anything about, and trying to get into a computer that's a Chromebook, getting this sound in there, recording it straight into Audacity. And I mean, it worked for 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit.
Right. And then we were just like, and then I remember we talked about, which we had to, right? Who wasn't talking about COVID literally every time you opened up your mouth during that time? But so we talked about COVID a lot, and we were straightforward, blunt, just straight honest with how we felt about it, how we felt about people not getting vaccinated, how we felt about their opinions as to why they're not getting vaccinated. I remember we talked about that for like 6 straight episodes or something like that. It was
more than that.
Untapped Keg was getting a little political early on, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I'm still not afraid to go there, but
shouldn't be.
It's not,
unfortunately.
It's pigeonholed there, but it's not if you look at it.
Oh man, so how do you feel, man? I mean, I see like you always ask me a lot of questions. It's my turn to ask you some questions, man.
All right.
So from that March to today, man, how do you feel, man? I mean, kind of a broad question in a sense, or you can kind of go anywhere with this, but how do you feel, man, since the inception of Untapped Keg? How do you like that word, Jenny?
I'm taking some time to answer this, but like we really have gone from kind of like surface level content to deep content. Like it was surface level because when we started this, I've been very straightforward. I was just sober, right? I was not working on a recovery. Didn't even know what that was. You say that word and I'm like, okay, sure. But yeah, now we've gone from being just like about our sobriety, talking about mental health. Like we've really understood, and we've always talked about this as we've talked about the holistic, everything, spirit, mind, body, everything in terms of sobriety. But we've really stuck with that mental health. And I'm really proud of how vulnerable we get, of how we're not afraid to talk through our emotions, talk through our hardships. But for me specifically, it's sometimes easier for me to talk here than it is in real life. Kind of like it is to talk on the phone sometimes. Sometimes when you have serious conversations, you don't want to have it face to face because the other person intimidates you. It's intimidating. So this is almost like therapy for me, but we really, especially last year when we broke the sports apart from the sobriety and mental health, like we've really dug deep. We've had some amazing guests, but like where we've gone from like this surface level, making sure we get sports into every podcast. Sometimes that was all that the podcast was about, was sports, to where we are now is, and as people and how it's helped us as, being a person to person. It's a hard feeling to describe, but I'm proud of us. I'm proud of where we've come, and I'm excited for the future because I think it's only going to get better.
Conversations we had over Christmas break, over the Christmas holiday, we had some great conversations at your parents' home. But I'm glad you mentioned that, man. I really am. Because I think that is important. I really do. When I look back on Untapped Keg, when I look back on how far we've come, how much we've grown, from people looking from the outside in, may not understand it, but folks like Jenny, folks like Lion, the folks who've really been with us since the beginning, know that, hey, we don't have all the greatest bells and whistles, right? We're not the greatest producers. We're not the greatest creators or what have you, but we've stuck with our mission, our initial mission statement, in a sense where it's, let's raise public awareness around mental health. Obviously, we talk a lot about men's mental health, obviously, because we're men. We never want to speak for women regarding what they have to face daily. The challenges that they face are significantly different than what men face. We talk a lot about, how the patriarchy structure is just obviously not working for men. We talk a lot about how men are the ones upholding the patriarchy as well, and passing it down paternally. That makes sense? Yes. And so we talk a lot about how these feelings that we have, we're just taught to hold them in, not share them. X, Y, and Z, and we've just been, since day one, man, we've been doing such a wonderful job of just, as you shared, just being honest, just not giving a shit, excuse my language, and just sharing, right? Don't care about what people think. Don't care about if they bash us. Don't care about if we get negative reviews, because at the end of the day, if you don't like what we're talking about, then hey, that's okay. We're just not for you then.
The man in the mirror syndrome, right? You're just, you don't like what's reflecting back at you, and that's what you're seeing in them. So,
and again, man, I want to give you, lastly, and I'll shut up, I want to give you some more credit, man. You really should be, and I know I say this all the time, but you really should be proud of yourself, man. I've been really busy, but you've been the backbone of this. You started this, man. And the direction we're going right now, man, I'm telling you guys, 2022 is going to be an awesome year for Untapped Keg. I mean, I'm talking.
Get on the rocket ship now.
possibly an LA trip that we got scheduled. A lot's coming up. But long story short, I mean, I'm glad, I'm happy, I'm excited, I'm elated. I'm honestly just thrilled to see the growth that we've had and understanding that we got so much more to come. So it's awesome, man.
We've got
my question to you.
We've got things in the works that are going to be really fun to announce, and it's more than one thing, right? It's more than one thing that we got coming up. We got these amazing interviews. We're getting more people because they can look at interviews we've done. They look at just really, and it's not really interviews. It's like, it's just guest spots, guests coming on, because that's what it is. We give a platform for people to tell their story. That's what I'm really excited about. Like when we had Brittany Shelton on, and afterwards she's like, I was really nervous, but you guys made it so comfortable. It was just, it really was just a conversation. And like, that made me feel so good inside, because hey, I was very nervous for that episode. I know you weren't, and you could kind of tell at the beginning I was a little bit nervous, but like that was just reaffirming what we're doing, that we're heading in the right direction. And so, to recap kind of what 2021 was for Untapped Keg, we were talking a little bit about 2020 when we started. We were just audio. Around this time last year, you came to me like, dude, we need to do video. We need to stream something. I'm like, that's a lot of work. Like what we were doing was very easy. It was pretty simple. I'm like, that's a lot of work to go into. And I'm like, well, let's look into it. Let's see what we have to do. And I was like, all right, let's try it. And we did it. We just did the thing. And I want to say was it the second week in January was our first video? Maybe it was the first week, but like we streamed a Badger game to like get there to kind of see how it was, see if we liked it. Yeah. But then, we just decided to try the video, and now we're both in completely different spots. Like the very first videos, I got like a big empty space behind me because I was in the basement on a little coffee table. Then I got a desk, and we upgraded that. And then sitting like this on the screen, yeah, I was too. And
just like not understanding, the more relaxed, the better. It's just like,
yeah.
Nah, dude. I mean, it's fun. It's fun right now, kind of going down memory lane. I think, and again, as we always talk about, I think we make our guests feel so comfortable, man, just because we don't script anything. We don't write. I mean, obviously we'll have probably 2 or 3 questions just to make sure we hit those before we end.
Right.
But we don't have a set program for our guests, because we just believe that the more candid, the better, the more just relaxed it is. Whichever direction they want to take the conversation, we'll take it. And I'm kind of just like envisioning right now, dude, of like us as caricatures just running with wires behind us, dragging wires and
right.
microphones, and not really knowing what we're doing. But
that's exactly what it was.
Right.
Hey, I mean, yeah, we did that. Then we got this overlay that was really cool. Like we didn't know what we were doing in OBS. We tried Streamlabs, we tried OBS. Audio issues that sounded terrible on the audio. So we figured that out. All of this while we're both working full-time jobs trying to figure it out. Yeah. And it's just like how far we've come in a year. And then, not just obviously the good things that happened, which was when we got into Radically Kind Gamers, which was really cool. Like that group, that was huge for us. That's how Jenny found us. That's how a lot of people found us. And then
I'm saying for our own.
And then, eventually. And then we get to that breakup. And that was just like, I mean, first off, we didn't really know what we were doing in that group. Right. But then like the breakup that ended up happening of Radically Kind Gamers was, it was fast. It was,
you talking about
it had a lot of context. It was honestly a dark time because I felt like I lost some people that I was starting to connect with. Like I felt like it was a lot of people that could understand me at a, you know, like with my ADHD and everything, like it was starting to all kind of click and make sense. And then all of a sudden it was like, it was just gone. And, you know, here at Untapped Keg, you know, a lot of people left that group. We didn't. And we were pretty open about it. Like, we believe in second chances. We have to.
Absolutely.
We have to. And it's not just second, it's third, fourth, fifth, because we are living it. We're living our second chance. Yeah. Like,
I'm living my second chance for sure.
You don't go sober because everything is good, because you've done everything right. You go sober because you made a lot of mistakes and you were not a good person. And we've talked about not having to forgive yourself to get better in the future. We've talked about how our past doesn't define who we are now, but it is important for how we became who we are. So it was important to both of us that we allowed a space for people to grow. And if we would have just left and not allowed a space for people to grow, we'd have been hypocrites. And I understand you could say, well, there's different contexts and stuff like that. Like, you either give people a chance to grow or you don't. And you don't have to be there. You aren't signing up for that stress. You don't have to be there for the growth. But we are signing up for that stress. We are telling people, if you're struggling, if you did something that you can't get, like, hit us up and talk to us, and we will be vulnerable with you, because we are vulnerable. That's what we're signing up for. So that's why the group no longer exists, but that's why we didn't just outwardly leave that group. Right.
Right.
But the verdict's still out on, you know, what's going on with the people involved there. But we chose to take that stress on, and I understand that not everybody did. So I don't hold anything against, honestly, anybody there. So
I'm glad you mentioned it though too, man, because again, guys, recapping Untapped Keg, everything, why we started it. RJ kind of nailed it right there, right? We talk about second chances. Obviously, we understand there's context with everything. There's obviously the context with what the mistake is, and obviously context with, you know, who the person is and if they truly want to grow or not. But in this context, this person wanted to grow, wanted to understand, wanted to learn, but unfortunately they weren't given the opportunity to. And us here at Untapped Keg, we always talk about it. Canceling somebody because of a mistake does what? They might still go on and continue that mistake with other groups, other folks, if you don't allow for them to have the opportunity to learn, grow, and understand what they said or what they have done was incorrect or was insensitive or what have you. So we just love the fact that we're going to continuously go down this path of letting folks know we're both living on our second chances, and you can too, right? It's honestly, that's just what it is. And so that's why we talk about our feelings. That's why we talk about what we're doing with our lives, we're so open and honest, because we just understand that this is an everlasting process of growth. And if you want to grow, you will grow. If you want to grow, you will grow. You will. Don't try to be the first person to grow. Don't look to your left or look to your right to see how fast they're growing or how slow you may be growing. Growth is growth. Just like we talk about with recovery. If you go 30 days and you relapse, those 30 days didn't go anywhere. If you go one day, right,
those 30 days still count.
Those 24 hours still count. That hour still counts. Those 10 minutes still count. That's why we always talk about it, right? Don't get too trapped into counting your days of growth, because at the end of the day, any minute, any hour, it's all just part of the process and part of the growth. If you do relapse, if you do make a mistake, if you do say something that's insensitive, don't beat yourself up about it. Step back up to the plate, learn from it, grow from it. Understand that this process is going to have a few setbacks, and just continuously put your pants back on and get back to work. I can't tell you enough, RJ, how thankful, man, I am for you being on my ass just about this, because I'm one to, I don't want to say coast, right? But I've done a significant amount of growth within the last 5 years, and this new stage, this new leap has been, dude, I'm telling you, man, these last 2 or 3 months, I can't thank you enough. I really can't. I honestly can't. And I've probably never expressed it to you in person, man, but you know, you look at me right now and you see a significant amount of weight loss. You see me happier, healthier, smiling. And I think a lot of it has to do with just from all that I've shared since March of 2020. Because I told you, I'm at that point now in my life to where I don't care if people still judge me from my mistakes. I don't care if people judge me for being a recovering alcoholic or for doing X, Y, and Z while I was, you know, under the I don't care anymore. It's all out there now. I've shared it. And so now it's just been really, I feel extremely optimistic, man. And I thank you for that.
It's about being better tomorrow than we were today. Because at least we tried, right? And
what's up? Good.
I was just going to say, that's what it's all about. That's like what you said about continuing to grow. Like that's something that I discovered this year, that you discovered this. I think you've discovered longer than this year, but really like, I really took it. Like I've talked about how I will just autopilot. I will. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to, because it's not, it leaves me wanting more, right? It leaves me feeling just blah. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to show my kids that. I want them to know that I don't want to buy them the things that I never had, right? The Bruce Lee saying. I want to show them the things that I was not shown. I want to teach them the things I was not taught.
Yes.
That's my parenting path. That's what I want to do. That's what I've wanted to do before I became a parent. If I became a parent, was to show them that. And when we were talking with Initial, with D, we talked about growth and how we're growing every day. And if we stop, like that's it. That's it. And if you think you have grown enough, people are just going to pass you by and you don't even realize it. And, you know, this year, like we met Jenny, we met Lion at Heart, we met how many countless people that are still hitting with us.
We met Lion.
Yeah, we did. So last week we actually went out to brunch with Lion, and that was the first time in person that we met him, and it was like we were best friends for a long time. Like we were long lost friends. We hadn't seen each other in a long time. That's all it was. But we just like immediately, you know, we hugged and went in and got food, and it was like an hour and a half of nonstop conversation. And that's what it was too. There were no awkward pauses. It was just awesome. Like friends hanging out and catching up.
Lion. Love you, man. Shout out. Jenny, we love you too. Absolutely. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all right. I was gonna say I'm excited to go to Iowa and get lunch with Jenny someday, because that's gonna happen.
We're gonna do it.
And you know, it's all these people that we're meeting. Amelie, we recorded 2 episodes with Amelie of the Sea, right? You know, like this wouldn't have happened if the year didn't go this way. If we didn't start video, if we didn't start on Twitch, if we didn't do a lot of things that we're doing, like I think our content is so many heads and shoulders better than it was just a year ago. And it's just the amount of guests that we've had on, you know, Gretchen, Gigi, she like Gigi pierced through my soul. I still think about a lot of the things that she talked about on that episode. Like you know, if this is the first episode that you're catching, whether it's audio or video, the one thing that I love about this is it does work as a video, and it works as a podcast too. It's just on straight audio. Go catch Gigi. Go catch, you know, the Gretchen episode. Go catch the Chris Borland episode. Go catch the
today too.
Both Amelie of the Sea episodes. Like there are so many. Go catch our Jenny episode. Go catch our You know, there's so many episodes that I mean, just the people that we've had on, it's just, it's inspiring, and the relationships that we've made. Like I think that's what I take from this year more than anything is the relationships we've made. Every single person we've interacted with has stayed in touch, has hit us up, like Adam up for the challenge. Like, dude, he will hit us up, Laugh for a Purpose, Big Kev. Like, all of these people, they stay in touch, and I'm excited to just collaborate with them in the future too, because they're all forces. Jenny too. It's just
2022 is going to be.
It's awesome. It's fun.
Year.
And
2022 is a year.
I'm excited.
So I want to start. I'm just saying it. I'm not going to all of our ideas. I'm not throwing out there. But I want to do. Not I want to. We are going to do.
I'm grateful, Jenny.
Grateful, absolutely. You know what? I got two things here I want to share. See, I'm off the wall right now, guys.
That's all right. That's what this episode is.
My cup is, it's not half full, right? It's still an optimistic mindset. That son of a gun is overflowing right now. I think that what we're going to do is we're going to start a Radically Kind Gamers, right? We're going to figure out what it's going to be. We'll share the name offline, of course. But I want to do something like that, right? I want us to have
a team. Like a group.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a collective.
That's what we're going to do, right? Because we're going to start a community for folks who are in recovery, play video games, right? Play video games. And I think that's brilliant. I think that's something we're going to do. And that's for 2022. We got a lot of stuff, guys. It's just awesome. Second thing, I want for us to have also, like, I love how Jenny really sparks my brain. We're talking about feeling words, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking maybe we should have like I don't know, like how are you feeling, like a red flag or a yellow flag or a green flag. I don't know. I have so many ideas right now. So many ideas. Right. I think it's going to be a very, very good year.
I want to get more technically proficient. So like I could hit a button that brings up a yellow flag, like Montee's yellow flag, and then a little animated Montee comes up and has like a little yellow flag underneath your screen, right? Like
I need a segment to talk about, like we said before, the conspiracy corner. Just real quick, like a minute.
No, that's real. Anytime you need Montee's conspiracy corner, MC squared, you just say the word and we'll go there. And I'll be like,
oh, dude,
Montee's conspiracy corner, MC squared. This has been brought to you by.
Especially with the launch of the James Webb telescope. I mean, but I'm excited, man. I'm again more than excited. I just feel just hope, man. Right? It's just this backbone, just reinforcing my backbone. Reinforcing my purpose, reinforcing again what I want to share with my son, what I want for my son to understand. And that's a lot about what I do right now, because he's only 5 right now, going on 6 in April. And obviously, once he becomes of age, he's going to understand that his father played football. He's going to understand that his father made mistakes. He's going to understand that his father was an alcoholic and now in recovery. And I just want for my child to see that you will have critics, you will have, you will have folks who try to drag you down. But just to keep just pushing through, just to keep pushing through and to make your own luck, make your own progress, make your own growth, disregarding all of the hate, and just to understand that you can get up when you fall down. That's honestly, it's been my mission when I go into schools and talk to teenagers, when I go into middle school and even talk to the younger kids. I let them know that, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall, you're going to trip, and folks are going to laugh, and folks are going to want for you to stay there just because it makes them feel better, that they're not where you're at. But you don't have to stay there. You don't have to live there. You don't have to fall victim to the process of feeling sorry for yourself. You don't. You really, really don't. If I right now were to bring the person back in 2016 and sit him here in this chair, completely different person. Defeated, scared, worried, just a clock, just lights and clock, just no soul, just completely soulless, emotionless. And I think just from my own growth, man, I'm proud of myself, and I hate to toot my own horn.
No, you're not tooting your own horn. I want you to know that right now. You're not tooting your own horn. You deserve to be proud of yourself.
But I'm proud of myself for ignoring the outside noise and not running from my mistake. Because there are a lot of people who are, a lot of people in the public eye who have made a similar mistake, but have not done what I've done. And and I would not have done it. I would not have had the strength if it wasn't for folks like yourself, RJ, in my life, my parents, of course, my sisters, my child, all of the above. But I want for people to just know that don't let people tell you what box you should fit in, or even if you need to fit in a box, don't let them try to corner you. Don't let them pigeonhole you. Do not let it happen. Don't. You just don't. Break through that shit and just keep going. Fucking, excuse my language. I'm sorry. But
that's all right. I have really, this one as explicit. It's no problem.
Thank you. Yeah, because to me, I faced it all. And I just can only imagine how much other folks are facing. They don't have the voice that I have. They don't have the platform that I have. They don't have the resources that I have. I understand that I'm privileged, in a sense. And I just want for folks to reach out to us if you're struggling, if you're suffocating, if you're drowning in hate, if you're drowning in stigma, if you're drowning in your own dwelling process of your mistakes, please hit me up. I got a guy who reached out to me via Twitter last night. 2 a.m. he hit me up saying that he's struggling. I'm going to talk to him later today. Don't even know him.
And
never talked to him, met him.
I think that that's important for us to say too. Like, if you reach out to us either on our personal Twitter, on our Untapped Keg pages, any pages, email, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, we'll get back to you as fast as we can. Obviously, life happens. Like, it might be a couple hours, but we will get back to you and we will talk and we'll be vulnerable with you. We don't just expect you to be vulnerable and we won't be back. But it's just peer-to-peer support. We're not professional therapists. Right. We're not professional mental health therapist. Like I said, therapists before, but like professionals. But we have peer-to-peer support. We have been there with you. And that's what we want this to be, is to let you know that we have been there. So I think this is a great time to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Calibrate. Why don't traditional diets work? Because you can't fight your biology with willpower. But Calibrate is different. It's comprehensive, doctor-guided metabolic reset that promotes sustainable results through lifestyle changes. Calibrate works because they combine prescribed, FDA-approved medication with lifestyle changes to improve metabolic health. It's a fully integrated program that includes classes, one-on-one video coaching, in-app tracking, community with members like you. They provide a comprehensive wellness plan personalized to your needs, so it's easy to fit Calibrate into your busy schedule. Check in with the app as often or as little as you'd like. All of the goals you set are personalized and tracked by doctors and coaches. Your weight doesn't reflect your willpower. Get back in control with Calibrate. Get $50 off your one-year metabolic reset when you use promo code BELIEVE at joincalibrate.com. That's $50 off when you use code BLEAV at joincalibrate.com. And now back to the show.
Mm-hmm. Nice segue. The beginning segue. I'm ready to just ramp this. I'm talking. You know what?
The past like 3 weeks, I've gotten so inspired. And we've talked a lot about last year. One thing we didn't mention was the Fan Control Football League that we streamed at the same time. How much fun that was, right? We're gonna be doing that again this year when they come back. It's gonna be so much fun. But also it's, talking with Jenny, like talking with other content creators, seeing what Bear's doing, seeing what Adam is doing Up for the Challenge. Like, all of these people that we've met have inspired me. And then talking with you and some of the ideas you've had, some of the ideas I've brought to you, it's just starting to, all of it is starting to kind of roll down the hill. The snowball effect. It's starting to gain momentum, get bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm excited too. I'm excited to see where it goes.
I'm ready to get to work now. Like right now.
Like not now, right now. And
right now.
I know.
Work out, and then I'm ready to get to work. Because you guys, again, we're excited about 2022. We want to hear from you guys as well about what are your plans, right? For 2022. Again, you got New Year's resolutions coming up that we all never follow through with. But what are your goals for 20?
I think that's something that I'm really proud of you and I about, is especially in 2020, like that first 8 months. We had one guest and maybe two, but I'm pretty sure one. And it was just you and I, and it was working on how our cadence, how we worked back and forth, right? And we got better and better and better. And then this entire year, like our first couple guests were, we've had some where it's been amazing right off the bat, and we've had some where we've had to kind of work through it a little bit. But every single episode has turned out really well, and I think every episode is better than the last and better than the last. And it's not the results that you see right now. It's the results that you end up seeing down the line. Like how we are right now compared to how we were, not even a year ago, 6 months ago. It's like, it's night and day. And it's the willingness to get vulnerable. It's the willingness to talk about it. So not just talk about the good feelings, but talk about the bad feelings. Let you know we also struggle. But then don't talk about just the good feelings. Talk about, or don't just talk about the bad feelings, but also talk about the good feelings too, right?
Yeah.
Like we get to laugh, we get to have fun. Some of the stories that I remember when I was drunk are funny. Sometimes, waking up naked in people's rooms, and I'm like, oh my God, whose room am I in? And I'm like, oh no, what happened last night? I walk out, and my good friend is sitting on the couch like, oh, we're at my girlfriend's house. You're in her room because she's gone for the weekend. I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Because I thought I just cheated on my girlfriend, and I was not going to be like, I don't know how I'd feel about that. And then, just like stuff, finding my pants curled up like in the bathroom. I just couldn't put them back on. So I just went to bed naked. Like,
I told you, dude, there's so many stories. I shit my pants my 21st birthday, got it in my book. There are some funny stories, right? Funny stories, but I do not care to replicate or to repeat those stories. And I think what you were sharing, RJ, about just the growth of just showing up every day, right, for the podcast, even though we went 8-9 months with only one guest, maybe two, but we were just figuring out our cadence. We just kept coming back, showing up. And again, as you stated, you don't see that growth while it's happening, but you see it a year down the road, maybe 2 years down the road, obviously with hindsight. And I think that's extremely applicable to recovery, to growth, to just how you are today as opposed to how you were maybe a year ago. Again, everybody's growth is different, but don't compare your growth. Do not compare your growth to others. And with social media today, a lot of people are getting trapped in that world of comparing their lives, their growth to others. But remember, social media or people's highlight reels, that's not real. Do not compare your growth to others. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you're going to be doing today. Focus on what you're going to be doing tomorrow, next week, next year. Put together a plan and follow it. Keep your head down and just follow it. What I mean by keep your head down, it's just a reference to football. Just block out the outside noise and keep grinding. Keep those knees driving. And that's when you'll be able to pick your head up, look back, and be like, wow. Pat yourself on the back, say F you to the haters, and keep it moving. That's what I'm talking about. There's nothing, well, I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't.
And
I would not trade it.
That's something that I've learned is that my sobriety is not just, it's not just applicable to, or like things that I learned in my sobriety or things that I do for my sobriety. It's not just applicable to being sober from alcohol, being sober from a substance. Like there's so many other things it can be used for, like mental health help, like exercise, like cooking, like learning something new, right? Like there's so many ways that you can use what you've learned, and you can show people that, hey, you can still partake. You can still do that. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's, but there's moderation, there's learning, there's growing, there's all sorts of things that you could take from recovery and sobriety and just put it to other things. Like you say all the time, that is true. Everybody's recovering from something.
Oh yeah.
And there's not something that's more true than that.
Because life is a battle, and laughter is the lubricant to help us through. We're all getting beat up, right, by life.
I mean, we are.
We all get beat up by it because it's just unexpected stressors, right? That's something that we can never avoid. That's the unfortunate part about life. But what I always like to talk about when it comes to growth is if you're not trying to grow in some area, some aspect of your life, then you're just waiting to die. And you're just waiting to die. And so you're just coasting and waiting to die. And I hate to be so blunt about it. And I'm not coming from the standpoint as if I'm the almighty, I get it now, I know how to grow in certain areas of all of my life. No, I don't. But I do understand how fun it is, how rehabilitating it is to my spirit, and who I am as a person to continuously dive headfirst into the growing process. And I think if you're not trying to grow or learn something,
and it's not always fun. Like that's the thing.
No, yeah,
you don't have to.
Definitely.
It's not always boring and it's not always mundane, but sometimes it is.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. I mean, my question to you is what from this podcast, man, right? What have you learned, or what have you taken from this podcast that's helped you in your day-to-day life? Probably many answers to this question.
It is. But I think the number one thing is that where you are mentally, like it affects everything from your sobriety to me as a parent, to me as a partner, to me as cook in the kitchen, like how literally everything comes back to where I'm at mentally, and to listen to other people when they talk about me and don't just get defensive and shut off. Listen, because more than likely they're not saying anything that's bad. And even though I get embarrassed when people talk about me, sometimes I shut down and I don't listen. Like with my brother's best man speech, with my dad's speech at the wedding, I cannot tell you anything that they said in those speeches because I just shut down and didn't hear anything. And I clapped and I said, that was great. I can't believe you managed that. That was really good. I don't know what they said. And like, it's happened before. It's happened on this podcast. I'm getting better at it, but it's just things that I needed to work on. I still need to work on, need to get better at, but it's really brought it to my attention. Nice. So what about you? Nice.
For me, yeah, I think I just mentioned it, man. I think, again, looking back on everything and understanding where we are today, where I'm at today personally, I think we are trying to grow the podcast. We're working on just making sure that we just have some form of growth each episode, each month, each year, and we have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, that's what I've been working on in my life, my personal life, just understanding that there's always something that I can grow in or with or work on. Whether it's being more patient, whether it's being more honest with myself, whether it's well, for instance, going back to school, I knew that that's something I need to do. That's something I have to stop ignoring. Finished out my semester a week ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a week ago, and got one more, and I graduate. So it's just this podcast has reinforced it with me, the fact that I need to grow in certain areas, and no one's going to do it for me. No one's going to do it for me. I have to do it myself.
Yep.
And the longer I wait, the harder it's going to be. So just to show up, just show up, just show up, just show up. That's like 90% of it right there, especially if you're working out. No one really cares to work out, right? Just show up.
Absolutely. Show up. Just do it.
Do it.
Yeah. One thing I want to shout out a couple things in here. Like Jenny always brings in the chat, like these amazing tidbits. And, what she said when we were talking about what we have for this next year, her goal is agency, like self-agency. And that is what she's going to work on and achieve, is self-agency. And that's amazing. Like, I don't want to just like brush over that, because I think that's something that all of us could benefit from, but just talking about it and saying it out loud is something to be commended on, right? That's not something. A lot of times we like to think, okay, I keep finding myself in these, like, why do I have such bad luck? Why does it always happen to me? Why can't I get the break? Why can't I get the company contacting us for what we're doing? But it doesn't matter if we keep working on the little things, if we keep doing our best and improving, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I had to learn this year too, is it's not just going to be given. There's no single moment that is going to make it better. Like my life, finding a career, I thought that would fill the hole in my heart. Nope. Yeah. I just realized that, well, I thought this was going to make everything better. No, I just realized that it just is what it is. Every job is a job. That's what I realized. No matter how much fun you have in it, eventually it feels like a job, and because that's what it is. And then, another thing that Jenny just said is that she has a sense of pride acknowledging moment of the big bad feelings.
The big bad feelings.
And then they will change when she's done feeling them. And that's important too, is knowing that it's okay to feel those feelings. You don't have to push them aside or think of something positive. It's important to work through those. And that's something that I learned this year too. That is, sometimes you need to let it be. And
well, yeah, as we talk about not having that self-medicating component that we utilized constantly, that being alcohol, when those emotions came up, now we have to face the music. And that's obviously early on when it was more raw, right? When you first put the bottle down, those emotions were,
it's like being a teenager again. And it was the first time you felt things.
Very difficult to manage. But as time has gone on, you've worked on it. You've figured out a way to manage them. You figured out a way to address them, let them sit, simmer, what have you. And I think, it is important. Feeling anxious, I don't want to say depressed, because depression can be terrible, right? But feeling sad, all those things, right, are healthy emotions to manage through. Because this is life. And so I'm just, again, man, I don't want to get off my soapbox here, but I'm looking forward to 2022. We're going to freaking crush it. I'm extremely optimistic about it. We're going to dominate. We're going to all of the above. It's just going to be a very fun atmosphere we're going to continuously create.
And it's not just the moments you see us on camera, right? It's what we do in the dark, so to speak. It is what is happening behind the scenes that we may not talk about, but all of a sudden you see. Like, I remember when this overlay, I wanted to shout it out. Oh my God, just wait till the next stream. No, like, you'll just see it and it's going to happen. And we are going to get better at things, and we're going to continue to grow and talk about our sobriety and talk about our mental health, talk about everything all around, all encompassing. I want to start yoga. I need to get my shoulders and my legs stretched out, especially my shoulders. My shoulders are really bad. And I'm only 35. My shoulders should not be like this, but they are. And that's something that I want to work on. So that's something that I'm going to make happen, that I'm going to find a yoga class and continue that. So, and the show's going to stay relevant to who we are, relevant to you, to everybody. We're going to make a community of growth, as Jenny put it, because that is what we are shooting for. That's what we want. We want a community of growth. And you know what? We're going to continue to find ways to let you know who we are as people. I think we do a pretty good job on this podcast, but also streaming video games, also doing other things, events. Hopefully everybody can get vaccinated so we can kind of go back to big events. We can go have fun. I don't have to worry about my kids getting a virus that might impact their long-term health. And we can go on from there. And this, what's the word I'm looking for? It's just, let me see if I can find it.
Can I find it on the mug?
Yep.
These mugs.
I'm radiant. I'm radiant with this optimism. With what we have going on, right? It's just, it is. Yeah. Like you said, your cup is running. I feel like, the sun almost, and like everything's radiating. Like I'm ready to go and chomping at the bit, just like you. So
chomping at the bit, man. So
if you have to end something, or to end this show, and you want people to know something, what would you want people to know from this past year?
Hey, you don't, sometimes you don't have to have all your ducks in a row to get started on something. Just go. Just do. Less talking and just do. Less talking, just do. Obviously, if it's a podcast, you're going to be talking, of course, but you understand what I'm saying. And I think that really encompasses how we started and how we got going, right? And we don't have any type of production background. We're not experts in mental health or anything along those lines. We didn't even have all of our equipment, and we just said, screw it, let's just start. So if there's something that you're looking to explore, that is going to obviously, that you're going to benefit with, in a sense, sometimes you don't have to have all the answers, have all your I's dotted, T's crossed, X, Y, and Z to get started. Just start, and then look back a year from now. You look back 2 years, look back 6 months from now, and then you're going to thank yourself for just doing it. Just show up and just do it. What about yourself, man?
It's going to be to be honest with when you look back, right? Because there's always points at which you could have been better. You could have done things different. But at the same time, if you had done it different, would you be in a different spot today, right? So let's say Radically Kind Gamers was the moment, and all of a sudden we had like 150 concurrent viewers or whatever, or 150 people watching every single episode. What would that have done for our show? Like, we probably wouldn't be talking about what we're talking about right now. We probably are not making the moves that we're making behind the scenes. We're not trying to make the connections that we're trying to make, right? Yeah. We're probably coasting. And it's okay to stumble, to be disappointed. It's okay to want more, I guess, but enjoy the process. Enjoy your journey, because like we talked about with growth, like we talked about with sobriety and recovery, mental health, there is no destination. Just in life, there is no destination. It doesn't matter how much you want there to be a destination. There is none. And just realize that. And that's what I'm coming to terms with. And it's making me have to think outside the box. It's making me have to think, you know what? I put myself into a box. Why don't I take myself out of it and I start adding things into this box? And that's part of the reason that I made the move from Wisconsin to Virginia. That's part of the reason that things are hopeful. That's how you find hope. Take yourself out of the box. Start adding things that you'd like to see in the box.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's what growth, I think the process of growth is challenging for folks, challenging for me early on too, because it's that saying, how long are you willing to run if you don't know the destination, right? How many sprints are you willing to run if the coach doesn't say, okay, you got 10, you got 20. He just said run, right? Or you're going to show up. I think that's with growth. There's no end. Excuse me. There is a process. There's no end. And that can be, that can be frightening for folks. But but there's just, don't want to beat a dead horse here, but it's been one heck of a journey. It's been fulfilling. It's been very fulfilling.
We're excited for you to come with us, to join us, to grow with us. And that is something that I think you're going to see in the next few weeks. So next week, normal show Sunday. Week after, normal show Sunday. We're gonna have some really awesome upcoming guests. We're gonna maybe have an announcement or two, and just stay tuned. We will be active. We will be there. We will be getting better every single day.
Indeed.
Because you know what? That's all we can do is be better than we were yesterday. Because at least if we don't make it, we tried. So everybody, you have a good week. Find us at Untapped Keg, all social media. Where can they find you, Mons?
You guys
I almost skipped that.
No, it's all good. On Twitter at MonteeBall28, Instagram MonteeBall. Obviously, our Untapped Keg pages as well on social media. Please reach out, send us topics, questions, guests you want to see, all of the above. We'll most definitely get back to you. Again, as RJ stated earlier, if you're struggling, please reach out to us. We'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you're in the area of myself or him, we'll try to get together. All of the above. We're here to help. We're here to support, peer support. And just let us know. RJ, where can they find you?
Untapped Keg, like Mont said, all social media platforms. Untapped Keg everywhere. We've been lucky. We've been able to get Untapped Keg any place that we could. It was available. We took it. So far, please don't take it. On Twitter, you can hit me up if you want to hit up my personal at It's Trickster, ITZ. The I is a 1 in Trickster. And let's make it an amazing week. Like, this is going to be a week a lot of people are off work. Do something that you wouldn't normally when you're off work and see how it feels. Mm-hmm. Just make sure it's safe. Be safe out there, everybody. And let's try to be better tomorrow than we were today. At least if we don't make it, we tried. Have a good week, everybody. See ya.